Welcome to Master Student, where knowledge is true wealth. We will be building on a Brother Panic Kundalini Enlightenment versus mundane levels of thought. Today I have the first person to get on Master Student with me, Cam from Kemet. And we're about to just expand on a lecture that Panic had back in 2019. And this specific lecture is only found on Patreon. And you can go to Brother Panic on Patreon and actually pay for the membership and check out the lecture for yourself. I won't be posting anything anything regarding this video by itself, because this is for his wife. You know, she makes her ends off this. We're just trying to build off of it and, let people know what's available on the Patreon as well, so that people can venture out and possibly gain some information through the Patreon rather than just the information that's on YouTube. But enough of me talking. Let's get to the build.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So if they're sidetracked, they never get to really get the understanding to even know there's a greater understanding. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
To even know there's a greater understanding. For instance, the Orishas, because the Orishas were for Nigeria and the Nigerian people. Once it got to the West, they came to America and got exploited by masses of people based upon your thought forms. You could just fuck that pantheon up. You can make them just as ignorant when ignorant people now start to deal with this sacred science. So when I was dealing with the Orishas in 97, not as a worshiper, but one-to-one conversation with them, they were basically telling me shit like, and they told us to Bobby as well, they didn't even know there was something outside of them. When they started seeing all these gods. I found out once they told me that, I brought this to Bobby. Bobby told me they told him that too. When he does his lectures, he calls out all of these gods and libations. So when he started telling people the Orishas aren't on your side, that the energy is now demiurge, and he's done this in the early 90s.
Right.
But to give people a shortcut, they have now transformed into something else and are usable. I'll just keep it there because it's a whole other lecture just me dealing with that.
Right.
And I know people just love them some Orishas. But now, this was all explained through Bobby's lectures. I've explained it as well. So if you need to hear more on that, you need to find the stuff where I dealt with it. Now, but nevertheless, he told me, when he called out all those gods, that they really didn't, they was telling me they didn't know there was nothing above them. Based upon them becoming ignorant with many masses of ignorant people now starting to use them. And if you think I'm wrong, you're just using them for relationships, getting out of jail free cards, how to get women, how to get men, the rest of that bullshit. That lowers the frequency of what these things were created for. That's why every African culture, almost, they could share certain template energies. Let's say like Baba Luaye, he had 3 other names. But most pantheons were created by certain cultures. The Congo, Palos, you get what I'm saying?
Right.
And many are lost and forgotten, as they're supposed to be, because they were made to serve those particular people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if I came to your village, you would tell me about your gods, and maybe I would compare them to my gods, but it was your party. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was your party. And this was because you wanted to keep the energy pure energy. So the masses of people who are not, and we're not talking about classic initiation, even though those old initiations counted back then in Africa, but that's not the only way. That initiation was there so you could get into the mindset of these particular gods you're going to be dealing with, so you don't fuck it up for nobody else by bringing low energy or Oshun, help me find a lover. No, you're supposed to deal with that for soulmate in all aspects of love. Oshun can help you, but just for this because he cheated on me, now you want to use Oshun because some nigga cheated on you and don't like you.
So he's he's actually right on point with what the God is saying. You don't use pretty much anything regarding higher forms of consciousness. You don't use that for low level things. You know what I'm saying? So especially when we dealing with deities. Deities, it's different ways to perceive it. See, for me personally, I don't take the deities and do certain forms, certain ritualistic things with the deities. Me, I build an internal connection with these deities, and when I say deity, it's just these energies. I understand what these symbols mean within myself, and that's how I have my relationship to it. My relationship could be different from Cam's. It is different from Cam's because his relationship is his relationship. You know what I'm saying? So, and the same goes for y'all. So it's like everybody's gonna have a different way how they go about working with various energies. Some people may look at it from the deity perspective and say, okay, Oshun, I like this is a low level of looking at it, but Oshun gave me this because I did A, B, and C. You know what I'm saying? That's a that's a slavery mindset because you're not being the cause, but you instead of you being the cause, you waiting for effect of you doing some form of worship outside of you. You know what I'm saying? So the point that the God is making is don't don't approach these higher concepts of yourself, of your own psyche, with your humanity in mind. You know what I'm saying? If you regarding your humanity, you gonna keep that where it's at. You know what I'm saying? If I'm going through some human trials, I'm gonna look at the 7 universal laws, which is found in the Kabbalion, and say, okay, let me see how I can utilize this for my rise for whatever the given situation may be. But I'm not about to involve deities in no way, shape, or form in this, unless I'm on some internal. See, I'm not saying necessarily it's a right and wrong because this transcends that, so it's never a right and wrong, but just the way of perception when we're talking about deities should never be you should never be like, let me use Zeus so I could pay my rent. You know what I'm saying? My humanity should have that in order.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What's your piece on it?
I say, that's why it's important just to have knowledge of self. But what I mean in particular, like with having knowledge of self, just knowing your history, just knowing, like for example, Kemet, aka Egypt, for example, like just knowing how back in the day how people utilized the deities. Like if they was in battle, they would call on Haru. They would call on his energy. They use these entities to provoke energies within themselves. So they always kept the attention right back to self. So I just think it's important just to have, like I say, knowledge of self, just knowing where you come from, like, and how your ancestors used to, operate, and then applying that in real time. But it's not just knowing, like, your history about what happened and what they did, but it's most important to know where they was mentally. That's the most important part, knowing where they was at mentally. Because you want to take where they was at mentally and apply it in this day and time. It's all about us remembering what we once was. Just keeping in mind, that ancient thought.
Perfectly said.
Just going back to the source.
That's perfectly said. Shit. That was on point. There's nothing else to say because, like the God just said, keep your ancient mind in mind. You know what I'm saying? No pun intended, but that's what you really need to do. Because if you think like a modern man, you're thinking with a degenerative state of consciousness. You know what I'm saying? In other words, you're thinking with your animal self rather than your God head.
And then to add on to it, that's why people utilizing the deities the way that they are, because they're looking at it from a modern perspective. They're not looking at it from the perspective of their ancestors.
Exactly.
So it's like, if you want to know the correct way of going about doing things, you got to have knowledge yourself. You got to learn about your history. You got to learn how your ancestors once did things, so you can learn how to do it correctly.
That's a different story from using Oshun to make a strong bond stronger. A love affair blossom more. That's a functioning love affair. You're trying to use this dysfunctional love that you got. He's beating your ass, but if you use Oshun, he'll like you more. Shit like that. That actually, you put Oshun in the loop and lower the energy. That makes them corrupt. That makes it a low vibration. You get what I'm saying? That's why they all have different paths, because different paths were for different levels.
Correct.
These lower levels will get corrupted just like any other nigga who would be what we would call an Uncle Tom, if you will. So not only was the initiation important as a rites of passage and a ceremony, but primarily you were doing it based upon the culture. Y'all ate, slept, honored the same way. Y'all seen what was dysfunctional the same way. Keeping a unified quantum mindset when you dealt with these quantum entities. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Nowadays, why doesn't initiation work? Because anybody with fucking $1,000 can do it. That defeats the purpose. All I need is to be $1,000 and I become a priest of Oshun or a priest of fucking Ogun. That doesn't even make sense. That's just to get your $1,000 if you're not smart enough to figure that out.
Right.
These people went through the initiation wasn't for everyone. You had to be at a certain level. Just having the money wasn't enough.
That's
now, so they didn't know anything was outside of them. This realm that we created with our mind, they enjoyed and lived there. But see, what I'm trying to tell you, when you deal with end-time spiritual events, these dimensions are starting to break down severely now. And ultimately, it trickles down to Earth, the end of the world. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And ultimately, what's happening now is based upon our mindset, whatever we call ourselves, a Moor, a Chickasaw Indian, a gymnast, a butcher, a baker. Not saying nothing's wrong and call what you call yourself, but you create a heaven based upon what you call yourself. You go to fisherman's heaven. You go to woodcutter's heaven. You get what I'm saying? These are nothing but dimensions, an extension of the same illusion you are on Earth. So the key is these dimensions must burn up for you to go to the true world of the real. And that should be the goal, where you are experiencing in your real form with your real life. And so, in other words, these dimensions are fucked up too. These dimensions are being burned the fuck up. That's also in Gnosticism, that the dimensions must burn up first. Then it'll eventually trickle down to the slowest part of your reality, third dimension, which is Earth. So all of this stuff must start happening, moving in the spirit world before you can see it move down here. So the good news is when you hear the Christian realm is being stirred up, i.e. Phelan's grandfather is a confirmation or just another aspect of the same thing, same time with Mahalia. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
These things are started to have effect. So all the conscious talk, all the conscious thought, all the conscious reading is actually supposed to impact the spirit world. And it is. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It is. So basically that's what's going on. That's what's happening now. A certain amount of progress. That's just one aspect. You know, a certain amount of progress is being made. In other words, we going through this change.
Yes.
We going through this change. And most people ain't ready for this particular change. Kundalini is change.
Yes.
And we're about to get right into that. Kundalini is change. What I'm going to do, as I've been doing, is start going through some of the notes and kind of elaborating on some of the notes. Now, primarily, there are many Kundalini books, many chakra books. This particular book, Bobby was up here in New York, and we was in East-West bookstores. This was about 2 years ago, maybe even 3. And we buying books. I had a handful. So he found this book and was like, yo, you got to get this book. I'm going to come back to get it. I guess he heard that. I guess he heard in my voice like, yeah, okay. Ain't I got enough already? And so he said, fuck this shit. I'm going to buy this for you right now. You got to read this. So I said, all right, let me get it. He bought it. And the name of the book is called Kundalini Ag Horror. This is the second book, part 2. AGHORA. And Ag Horror is just basically a set or a particular group, or a particular, it would be like saying the Moors of Kundalini or the Nuwabis of Kundalini. It's just another group, a set, probably a priesthood.
Right.
By Robert E. Svoboda. Last name is spelled Svoboda. It's a pretty good book. I read through it, but I skimmed through it just for quotes to elaborate, and you should get the book. It has a lot of Sri yantras in there, you know, a lot of things. It talks about the immortals, music, all of this thing. But we're going to go through some of these quotes and some other quotes that I gathered from around and try to deal with it. All right, you ready?
All right. Yes, we're ready.
All right, so the study of philosophy without a longing for liberation is like dressing up a corpse. Now, that's a very powerful statement. Most people talk about raising Kundalini and this Kundalini and my Kundalini's rising, but the true understanding of a Kundalini's experience is to go beyond humanity.
Yes.
Most people say they are doing these things, but then they get more interested in human affairs.
Yes.
To be the occultist or to be the alchemist, what you're basically saying is, I'm leaving something behind. What you're leaving behind is humanity and human thoughts. If you're doing these things and you only feel that you or speak as if you're smarter about human thoughts, then you are doing nothing but dressing up a corpse, dressing up your dead body. So, if the oil spill fucks with you to the point where you want to go save the fish, not to mention we eat fucking 1 billion pounds of fish each year, if the oil is fucking with you, then you have done nothing but dress up your dead corpse. Understand that. What it is you are systematically, not one...
The God is always funny, man. You know what I'm saying? And I laugh at it now because I understand it. You know what I'm saying? It's funny, like, for real, bro. Me and you just had this conversation. Being concerned with the human shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, even having that on mind is foolish. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't aid our spiritual growth in no way, shape, or form. You know what I'm saying? It's only like if it does disturb us, it's because we allowed it to.
Yeah.
And that's something that we just have to do the work on a personal level.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But that's basically what the God's building on. You know, just for just the audience in general. You know, if you focus on the human aspect and you take it to heart. It's foolish. It's good. It's best to laugh at a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? Especially just a simple thing could be your boss might piss you off at work. You know what I'm saying? Even with that though, why are you mad? You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't even be mad. There's so much to be happy for. How can my boss piss me off? You know what I'm saying? I shouldn't even be in the mindset of being mad. If that emotion overcomes me, or comes over me, I should say, I should instantly think in that moment, why am I feeling like this? Let me transmute this energy. It's over with right then and there. You're not even mad because you just transmute the energy. That's all it is. You know what I'm saying? So once you do the transmutation in the moment, it's not even what you thought it was. You know what I'm saying? Or just have a positive outlook on shit in general. It's really nothing to be mad about. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, I would.
No, go ahead, bro.
I would just say repetition, though.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everything comes down to having repetition. It's not going to happen all in one day, you know, with changing your mindset, because you got to look at it like this. For years, even myself, we looked at things in a negative manner. So that's years of you convincing your subconscious that this negative reality exists. So now you got to be in the process every day, every second, anytime you ever have a negative thought, just changing the polarity, just using a perspective that's beneficial for your growth.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. So
that's knowledge, nigga. Shit, I thought you had some more things. Shit. No, that's my piece too. Yeah. Get back to it.
You make a decision. You are systematically leaving earthly things behind. I'm going to tell you, if you don't believe me, I'll tell you the easiest thing you could grasp. When you become conscious, the first thing people say is, well, I'm getting rid of materialism. I'm not material. Yeah, but it doesn't stop there. Materialism is earth itself. So you haven't gotten rid of materialism if you're worrying about the material here. It's not like you're supposed to start saying, fuck your kids, fuck your job, put on a robe. But you need to understand, things that you can let go, you have to let go. If you are concerned with the goddamn earth and the earth, in the problems of the earth, then you are doing nothing more than what...
I do want to say this, though. Everything that Panic is saying is wise and exact, but, to everybody that's listening to this, this shit take time, and it's all right. The fact that you even on this path, the fact that you even want to, look at things from a different perspective, that's what matters. It's just all about just staying on the path and just being consistent. Because, Panic is right about what he's saying, but I know, like, for some, it could come off a little discouraging because you're thinking a certain way, but, it's just all about going through your trials and tribulations and just overcoming it. That's what all of this shit just about. That's why we come down here, just to have a human body experience and just learn. That's all this shit about. So I just say that not to sound so long-winded, but I just say that to say, don't ever feel defeated on your path or feel like, damn, I could be doing more. You know what I'm saying? As long as you stay on the path, that's all that matters.
The Christian has done. What anybody else who you supposed to be separating yourself in thought from, if you're thinking the same way, you have nothing but a dead corpse. And calling it Kundalini, melanin, pineal, chakra, any of these things is nothing but an outfit dressing up a dead corpse. So now you have a whole new language, but you're the same unchanged individual. Kundalini is change. So we're going to deal with the change of this motherfucker. In earlier times, when esoteric knowledge was under jealous guard, a spiritual aspirant usually had to endure years of patient waiting before being taught. So understand, what you're learning on YouTube is odd compared to how we used to deal and feed each other information in terms of who was worthy. Because motherfuckers would go crazy. See, what people think is when you get this information, going crazy means that you're going to be talking to a fire hydrant. No, it means all those little insecurities, all those little overzealous actions as a fucked up human. The energy that you get from your kundalini, your chakras, your melanin, your pineal will feed that. So whatever stupidity you was on, you become stupidity threefold.
Right.
Whatever insanity you had, whatever whatever laziness, whatever problems, if you had lust, Kundalini will enhance that lust. Unless you need it to be a straight path to God, meaning your life had to be in order. You had to be a balanced person before you got certain levels of information. Now you're on YouTube and everybody's the fucking guru in 3 minutes. Now that's good, that's fine, I don't give a shit. But what we're talking about, let's deal with this shit. If we want to deal with this shit, let's deal with this shit in a reality way. All of a sudden, you just wake up and you sweet Jesus incarnate, telling everybody how to fucking change water to wine. It took time. It takes time. It's a constant path. It's a constant path, and we understood this.
Yes.
People were saying that this took lifetimes. We understood the concept. That's why the damn Akashic record is important.
Yes.
Get them readings, because what it'll tell you is where you left off and where we had more access to that back in the days. It's so key, and everyone I recommended and has got one from this blue has told me, hands down, it's the greatest thing they've done thus far in their conscious path. The end. The end. And what it allowed them to do was pick up on the research and expand, because they initiate.
So Panic was just talking about, I'm gonna put this in my own words, 7 chakras in the body. While you're going through the process of Kundalini, enlightenment or awakening, your chakra will have these certain points where it coils. In other words, this is something what you need to work on. So in other words, the energy won't rise up, it'll be stuck at a point. You know what I'm saying? In a sense, it's stagnation. You know what I'm saying? Until you work on whatever the trial and error that may be that's blocking your Kundalini from moving forward. You know what I'm saying? If you at the heart, it could be various things at the heart. You know what I'm saying? Throat, various things of communication. It might not even be an external communication. It be some internal communication that you just not having with yourself or won't have with yourself. You know what I'm saying? So many different ways to perceive it. But also he was talking about when you get on this path of Kundalini enlightenment, word is bond, because it should happen for me. Lust is definitely immense when you haven't fully worked through that path, I should say. You know what I'm saying? For me, I'm still going through that. You know what I'm saying? Not on a physical level of lusting, but just in the mind. You know what I'm saying? So mentally, I'm still working on leaving lustful thoughts alone. You know what I'm saying? And still going through that process. You know what I'm saying? And I truly do feel like that's something that is more intense since I got on this path. Or it could be that, or it could just be I'm paying attention to my thoughts more. You know what I'm saying? Anywhere it go, it's something that I'm working on at the moment, and I'm taking very seriously. It's nothing to take lightly. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a lockdown frequency. And I just brought that up because the guy was saying how when you don't work on certain shit, but you on a path of enlightenment, those different coils in your chakra, or on when we talking about we talking about the 7 spheres within man. Excuse me. On in Jewish mysticism, in Jewish mysticism, it's called the Sephra, the tree of life. You know what I'm saying? Same 7 spheres. And that's just talking, or it's called the Jacob's ladder. You know what I'm saying? And all it is these different ciphers within your etheric body that shows the energy going from the sacral chakra to the crown. And that's Christ being resurrected and dying on the cross. That's a process that's constantly going on. You know what I'm saying? Once you go through Kundalini awakening, you're forever on that path. You know what I'm saying? That's not like I think I was just talking to Cam about it, like, once your eyes open, you know what I'm saying? It's not like I could just say, all right, fuck this. I'm gonna be on the 85 shit today. No, you know better. You know what I'm saying? So now your subconscious instantly, you do some fucked up shit, you already know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So it's like being on this path is a lot of responsibilities. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why I just brought that up, but I'm building right now. Y'all enjoying this. We're going to keep giving y'all this information.
He said, "I will."
He was like,
that meant absolutely nothing.
Right.
But to somebody who don't know shit, I can make that shit sound deep. Well, only if you look within, then you will find what comes without. Because what without is truly what is within. If you look beyond, only to find that beyond is nothing but an introspective look within oneself. Yeah, what the fuck does that mean? But niggas do that shit all day. That's all I hear. That's all I hear with status messages. People who are not really doing nothing, and really, that's your business. Who I'm talking to right now, I'm talking to the people who wants to do something.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I meet a whole bunch of people who really want to work, really want to know how to be whoever they're supposed to be.
Right.
And the pitfalls, what we're talking about now is the pitfalls that actually block. Because what most people are trying to do is apply their human intelligence to this when it's supposed to be another otherworldly thing.
I'm starting to understand it from that perspective.
Now, through words can be bought and sold. The living wisdom, which cannot be confined within words, must still be earned. So, in other words, it's
you know what I'm saying?
even me speaking to you is desperately pitiful. Almost despicably pitiful. It's only, the best I could do is only speak on the things that happen to me and hope it inspires you to do your own path. You must earn it, meaning you have to go through the experience. This quoting motherfuckers and having quotes is a secondhand experience.
True.
It's a secondhand experience. You do not get, even me talking to you is a secondhand experience. The best I could do for you is let you know that we can and you can experience anything that I can experience. I am no more cooler, badder, or deeper than you. Anything, you have melanin, pineals, kundalini, chakras, and all that shit. It's just a matter of, I was lucky to get into a study and was be able to deal with Bobby Hemmett because of his experience. He understood a lot of pitfalls. So it was able to help me not go into pitfalls. So what I'm hoping to reflect is things that not get you into pitfalls. In fact, the last 2 or 3 lectures with the Gnosticism and the rest of that, my whole point was to not get you in the pitfalls. And these pitfalls only come from, these pitfalls are not outside of you. They only come from your human thought, which is a player hater in your lives. You get what I'm saying? It's a rise. Kundalini, the root from which all spiritual experiences sprout. So your consciousness is Kundalini. It is the life force energy of this universe. So you have risen. You have, anyone who's conscious has dealt with the Kundalini energy. In fact, anyone who's dead, you can say on a mundane level, dealt with Kundalini, and we'll get into that. We'll get into that. Anyone who's dead has dealt with Kundalini as well. But people who said, I am consciously rising, if they don't do other work or have their mind right, it's going to feed that part of their sickness.
Yes.
Remember, it's a snake, and a snake is also the elixir and it's also the poison, and we're going to get into that. It could go 2 ways with this shit.
All right.
The best things can be told, the second best, misunderstood. Misunderstood. Which means, again, what I said earlier, when I said to you that words can be brought and sold, but living wisdom cannot be confronted within words. It must be earned. This is another way of saying the best things could be told. So your preachers, your lecturers tell you the best shit, and motherfuckers is excited about.
I was just thinking about what Cam just said. Demons have a perception, I should say. They have a perspective. When you hear the word demon, think of something scary. Kind of pushes you in the opposite direction. Whole time, something that makes you uncomfortable, you really need to go towards it, because you need to find out why the fuck am I uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? Why am I uncomfortable? Why do I have these feelings? You know what I'm saying? You should be unmoved by all things. You know what I'm saying? I think I was telling bro this not too long ago. You know, he was asking me, we building, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm working on rest. You know what I'm saying? And rest, that's a state of being not moved by nothing. You know what I'm saying? Outside of yourself. You know what I'm saying? You in a place between, just for the sake of conversation, it's like you're inert, but at the same time you still in a place of motion. You see what I'm saying? And just look at that from an energetic perspective. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going through life, but I'm not about to let anything weigh me down, slow me down. You know what I'm saying? Shit, I got bills. Just on some human shit, so y'all can see the perspective. I got bills and shit, but that ain't finna slow me down. You know what I'm saying? That ain't finna stop me moving forward. You know what I'm saying? I'm finna take care of what the fuck I need to take care of. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the perspective I have, just from a human level when I say rest. You know what I'm saying? But I done came to this understanding. And I was talking to bro about it. I can, but I choose not to. And what I'm referring to is not give my perspective about a lot of things in regards to out of body experiences, because it's different for everybody. You know what I'm saying? My out of body experiences will be different from the next person. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me. My out of body experience will be different from the next person because of the simple fact that I done worked on different aspects of my mind that's allowing me to see things from a different perspective than others. You know what I'm saying? Just looking at this from a cosmic perspective. You know what I'm saying? Certain things should just be said in the Kabbalion. The Kabbalion does a good job at doing that. They say things from a cosmic perspective, and then they allow the reader to say, okay, I see it from this lens, I see it from that lens and that lens. Oh, the universe is mental. That means this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no one way to perceive the universe is mental, because everybody's mind is literally a different perception of reality. You see what I'm saying? So even when I'm talking about this being in this state of rest, just to bring it full circle, when I'm talking about this state of rest, it's more, for me, the best way I could say it is a state of being, rather than, like, right now I'm living. I have an identity. You know what I'm saying? I'm Raboni Ra. I got green shirt on, glasses. I have an identity. I have a name. You know what I'm saying? This is my ego. When you go to a state of being, I'm not saying you still got responsibility. You got kids, family, whatever the fuck the case may be. You still have a journey in the flesh. But when you sit down and you doing the shadow work, I'm talking to gods. If you're a fucking human, this ain't for you. You know what I'm saying? But on some real shit, I just want to be honest.
Yeah, I think they get that by now, bro. This ain't your first time saying that for sure. It's damn like the 4th or 5th video you just said that, bro.
For real though, man.
His ass need a disclaimer, no humans allowed.
But I say that because it's not one way of perceiving anything. You know what I'm saying? And when it comes to rest, it's a state of being. When you're focused on the state of being rather than I'm living, I have an identity, I have an ego, you're literally saying I'm above this humanity shit. I'm looking down on it and observing it. You're becoming that observer of your humanity and saying, okay, why do I behave like that? Okay, I I feel some type of way when that was said. You know what I'm saying? Or I tend to do this and not that. You know what I'm saying? What is that about? Because like I was just having this conversation with bro, the occult is nothing but the unseen. That's your subconscious mind. That's your soul. That's the unseen. You know what I'm saying? So your way of life is what needs to be studied, but you have to be the observer. You can't be focused on the now. It's more about, that's when I go taking it back to rest. Rest is a state of being, but it's all, when I say a state of being, also don't get it confused with a state of mind, because it's one and the same. You know what I'm saying? If I'm at a state of rest, I still have duties on a human level. You know what I'm saying? But that don't mean I'm not at rest here. If somebody approached me with any type of foolery on just on a human level, I might chop it up with bro, be like, yeah, you know, his ass is tweaking. You know what I'm saying? Woo-de-woo, we break science on it, laugh about it. You know what I'm saying? But in my heart, I forget what he looked like. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not on my mind. Like that doesn't matter. It doesn't hold no type of weight for me. You know what I'm saying? Versus the knowledge. You know what I'm saying? I'm not finna forget anything regarding this information. You know what I'm saying? Or anything regarding myself in regards to knowing perfectly. That's a good way to wrap it up. Knowing. I'm not forgetting knowing. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what this journey is all about anyway. It's about knowing self. So and that's something I will never forget. You know, and just bringing it back to why I'm giving you an example of rest and not explaining it. I'm not saying follow how I say rest. Don't follow that. You know what I'm saying? How you might say rest is, that's for you. You know what I'm saying? For me, rest is as I just explained it. You know what I'm saying? But there's no patent way of rest. Rest is my art. Rest is me having a wife and kids. You know what I'm saying? Rest is me reading a book and not out here on the block. You know what I'm saying? Rest is me drinking alchemy and not drinking alcohol. You know what I'm saying? It's a state of being that keeps me up here and not on my lower chakra. You know what I'm saying? And keep me on my lower natures. You know what I'm saying? Because anything that's revolving around my lower natures, that's ultimately death. You know what I'm saying? And I've been dead for too long, in my opinion. And even now, sometimes I fall back down, but that's only because my will is always being tested. I was also talking to God about this. It had crossed my mind, and I was like, man, I was such a fool. And this is because I was thinking about parasites, and I used to blame the parasites for shit. And the guy, he was like, God ain't parasites. And when I thought about it, I'm like, you right, God? But the God was looking at it from the crown. You see what I'm saying? From the crown, word is bond. God is no parasite. I'm not leeching on shit. I don't need something else in order for me to sustain life. You know what I'm saying? But holistically, God is all. You see what I'm saying? So even that, the parasites, that's an aspect of me. You know what I'm saying? I need to get my cipher in order so that it ain't nothing even trying to leech off me. You know what I'm saying? There's no way, even if something was trying, it can't even do it. Life wouldn't even exist in my temple to the point where it's going to be on some degenerative type shit. You know what I'm saying? For me, I look at it like I just need to get my cipher in order. You know what I'm saying? And just take responsibility as a God just holistically, because ultimately, all of this is just happening within the universal subconscious mind. You know what I'm saying? This is just, we might look separate, nigga. The fact that we sitting here, we more connected than you motherfuckers may think. You know what I'm saying? On some real shit. Like, the fact that we sitting here building on this, y'all just don't understand. Like, it's a resonance in mind and not just we all connected just on a etheric level, which is our soul being connected. You know, everybody, if you a light being, you should already know the science. I shouldn't have to get this to y'all. Y'all should already know I'm not. You're going to have to tap in with other people on this. You know what I'm saying? Like, God, if you want to build on something, man, I'm rambling on and shit, you know. Well,
yeah, I would just say, just stay focused on your path. Have tunnel vision. You know what I'm saying? Just alienate yourself from what's going on in the world. You know, fuck what Trump got going on. Fuck whatever is going on Instagram. Fuck all of that shit. Just stay focused on whatever you got going on. And just have tunnel vision, like I said. That's the best advice I can give anybody. Just stay focused. To achieve anything that he's saying, you gotta have focus. None of this is possible without focus. You know?
This is a fact.
And don't be afraid to be in solitude either.
Man.
Don't be afraid to be by yourself. Because when you be by yourself, you get yourself time to, you know, just go within and really see who you really are when nobody's around. Because it's easy to be camouflaged and blend in with whatever is going on, but when you by yourself, it's just you. So you really see yourself for who you really are, you know. And like I just said, man, just lock in. Because everything that he's saying is not going to happen overnight, you know. You just got to be consistent. That's what it all comes down to, just being consistent. And shit,
This is what I like about this nigga. He wrap it all. He put this shit in a blender for y'all lives, and just he like, here you go. Here's the happy meal. You know what I'm saying? Here's the happy meal. Blend that shit nice together. He like, let me feed the babies. You know what I'm saying? He's great at that though. You know what I'm saying? You see how he just wrapped that together? Like, when we talking about advanced concepts, he like, let me blend this and spoon feed this to the children. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a master. You know what I'm saying? He's a master. You gotta be at a level to do shit like this. You know what I'm saying? So definitely listen to what he's saying. Like, bro is not wrong, you know. It take time, you know. We work, you know what I'm saying. Shit, I cried, he cried, you know what I'm saying. Like, shit, nigga, shit is real, you know what I'm saying. Like, I don't get on this camera to give y'all some shit that's just, oh, this shit sound cool. Nah, nigga, like, I'm really taking responsibility for my life. Like, for real. Like, some of y'all might think, like, why is he so joyful in this video? It's because I have nothing to be upset about. You know what I'm saying? Life truly is beautiful. You know what I'm saying? When you understand the fullness of it. The fact that I have all of my ciphers in mind, and I'm wise and exact, and on top of it, I'm here with the God. You know what I'm saying? He introduced me to just knowledge itself. This is already something that's profound. Most people don't even, they go their whole life not knowing who they are. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Most people think it's, let me go to a church and I'm finna pray. You'll be back in the body getting your ass spanked. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Now you doing this all again. And we live in an age of information where when that happens, nobody cares. Like, it's not about somebody caring. Like, how can I say this? Because I know y'all gonna say from the ancestor perspective. But go ahead.
I got
Go ahead. Build on it.
Not to interrupt your wisdom, but what's interesting about that is, because we got all this information out, and we have access to YouTube where people can give different perspectives on spirituality. It's a lot of people that's getting out of the church because of it.
Right.
And
exactly,
some people are losing a sense of spirituality because they don't know what direction to go in. So I think I think nowadays it's not necessarily about people being in church. It's about people finding a path that works for them. Because
perfectly said.
You can hear all of this information about, how the Bible was used against us in slavery and all of that, right? And you can stop being a Christian, but at the end of the day, that energy has to go somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it's all about. You gotta find what you resonate with. You know what I'm saying? It's like, because I understand that, like, you can hear the truth and then you would be like, damn, like, where do I go from here? You know what I'm saying? Because I thought that this was wise and exact, and it come out that it's not. But, you just got to, like I say, just stay on the path and just listen to your intuition, because your intuition always going to guide you in the direction that you should be on. On the path that you should be on, That's just my piece on that.
I forgot what the fuck I was talking about. So we gonna listen to the lecture. That's some real shit, dog.
The second best are misunderstood. When it's time to go experience the shit, that's where it gets misunderstood. When you have to go put on your fucking conscious hat, your meditation hat, that's where it gets in. And nobody can't front for me because I get the questions.
Right.
Brother Panic, how can I get this girl back? How can I get my son to stay in school? I'm like, in all niceness, I don't even do that. I've said before, as I said at the beginning of the show, I deal with end-time spiritual events, esoteric events. I don't deal with earthly events. Now, I understand the importance of it, but that's not what I'm here to do. I understand the importance of having toilet paper, but I'm not a toilet paper salesman. I don't offer it.
Trying to follow what the fuck Panic got going on. Like,
right.
I don't follow Panic in no way, shape, or form.
That's what I suggest, right? If you want to be a Christian, I think you should get source information, right? If you like reading the Bible, I say, I think that you should get the original Bible. You should know what things...
He just put that shit in the blender. This is a fact. He just... He gave y'all last the formula.
Yeah, I just think you need to gain source information.
For real.
If that's what you like, okay, well be it. No judgment. If that's what you resonate with, just know the origins of shit. You know what I'm saying? Don't follow anything and don't know the origins. Because the Bible has been rewritten I don't know how many times. So, and like you said, like bro was saying, we got access to the internet. So you can look up like the original Bible before the King James and other Bibles that was written. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Just know the origins of shit. Just know the source.
Bro is a master with that shit. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's a blessing to have him on here, giving y'all this information. Because how I give it, that's why I don't be giving y'all these hour reflections all the time, man. Because from my perspective is, I think I just said it, like, on some real shit. Like, how I think is how I think. You know what I'm saying? Like, I even notice it with Panic and the rest of the master teachers is how they think. You know what I'm saying? The best thing for me to do On some real shit. Go get the book. On some real shit. That's the best master teacher out there. You know what I'm saying? And then you come back to me and be like, I read this. You know what I'm saying? Now we having a conversation. I read this. It said do this when you're Kundalini. You know what I'm saying? Oh, but if I meditate, woo-de-woo. What if I meditate like this and I come back to you like shit? You, however you comfortable. You know what I'm saying? It might say in the book, meditate lotus position. Then you meditate like this, nigga. You know what I'm saying? If you're comfortable, nigga, in a chair, meditate, nigga, with a blunt in your hand. You know what I'm saying? Meditate.
Hey, I just want to put this out there before I forget.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Since we was talking about the Bible, and just going back to something I said in the beginning of the video when I was like, ancient thought, you know, it's important to have ancient thought when you're reading the Bible, because
Right.
it symbolizes a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people think that what it says in the Bible is literal, and it's not. You know what I'm saying? You got to learn how to decode shit so you can see it for what it really is. But that's why I said, like, you know, get knowledge yourself. Know your ancestors and shit like that. Know how they looked at things, so when you do read the Bible or shit, or read the Quran, you can see it for really what it really is, because you're looking at it from an ancient thought. You know, you're not looking at it from a modern mind. You know, the modern mind is a slave mind. Just being on some real shit.
You got two options for what he just said. Be a fucking slave or be a god. That's it. Nice and simple. Stand up even if you cripple, nigga. You know what I'm saying? This one of them. You know what I'm saying? But that's real though, shit. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's regarding being a teacher, and what I was trying to say is just read the books. That's why if you go to the website, I got a bunch of books. You know what I'm saying? I'm not finna tell y'all, read this, read that. No, just a bunch of books. Click on it. It literally says knowledge yourself to even get to the library selection. Click on the book, man. And it's free. No disrespect to Panic, but he was charging for cyclomancy. You know what I'm saying? But I know why. You know what I'm saying? That's one of them. It's probably people who probably got something to say to me to this day. You giving out cyclomancy? What? You know what I'm saying? But it's like, I'm giving it out to people who even understand. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is something that can change your life. You know what I'm saying? And that's my main thing. I view a master teacher as somebody who's giving you the sources to better your life, and then you come back and be like, okay, this worked for me. Or you come back with a technique on how you tapped into a certain aspect of your psyche, and maybe some didn't work or some did work, and we build on it from that point. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's what made me mess with Panic, man. You know, he never said do what I'm doing. Because, for real, how I would view things, I remember I was talking to Cam about it. I was like, bro, how Panic view deities, I really don't view it that way. Like, on some real shit. Like, but I know what he's talking about. You know what I'm saying? I understand how that works. I get how his connection is how it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's just for me personally doing the work. But for me, it doesn't work like that. You know what I'm saying? Which is cool. That's how it's supposed to be. That's really building a relationship with the energy. You know what I'm saying? And you tapping in with it on the internal level and saying, okay, boom, this is how I make shit happen for me. That's how you make shit happen for you. But that's my piece on it, man. Just don't think it's one way of doing anything. You know what I'm saying? It's a plethora of ways of doing everything. Even the simplest shit, just on a human level. Like, people be coming to me, just anything human. You know what I'm saying? Like, a job. You know, people say, I can only get a job this way, or whoopty whoop. Bro, there's a bunch of ways doing stuff, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a bunch of ways to make money. It's never a way. It's never, not a way, excuse me. It's never a time in which you're in a position where you're forced to stay stagnant. You know what I'm saying? It's always a way to be like, let me take this route or let me take that route to better myself. You never just gonna be like, this is all I got. You know what I'm saying? So that's my piece, man. And you got something, Cal?
Nah, you said everything, bro.
We build.
Walking my own path. A follower would never understand the leader. Life a bitch, but I still won't mistreat her.
Transfer light to my kin. So